when Joe Rogan started hinting that powerful people in entertainment were quietly aligning with political power to protect their own, a lot of names came up, but one name kept floating just beneath the surface.
Jay-Z.
That's where Jay-Z's former close friend DeHaven comes in. DeHaven says what people don't understand is that Jay-Z didn't just rise through music and business. He survived because he learned how to play both sides of power early. According to him, Jay-Z's inner circle included people who weren't just executives or lawyers.
And keep in mind, the chick had a plan too. Like, yo, we could do things. And I can guarantee you the conversation with Emery, even when Emery came home and seen, he came home and seen the same thing. Yo, you dealing with her?
Who's the chick?
Desiree.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He came home and had to see it too. Say, yo, what is this? And I can tell you how that conversation probably went. Like, look, man, you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about nothing else ever again. You over here with us now. But what if, yo, she a snitch? Man, f that snitch, bro. Them people that's talking about that snitch, we ain't gonna be breathing in the same ear. Them, that's what you worried about? Them that don't have nothing sitting home? Where you gonna be if you don't get on this side? The hell, get on this side? I can see that conversation happening.
According to DeHaven, that's exactly how Jay-Z moved when people around him started catching serious heat. He didn't argue. He didn't fight the system. He aligned with it. That's where the political angle comes in. DeHaven suggests that Jay-Z understood long ago that celebrity protection doesn't come from fans or money. It comes from relationships with people who control investigations, narratives, and outcomes. And once those relationships exist, they don't care about politics the way regular people do. Left, right, MAGA.
Bro, this is what I'm sitting here telling you. This is what will drive you insane. Trying to figure out what.
Right.
Is it just this?
Right.
Cause this is all I know. Cause if it ain't that, is that? Is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you or did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make no sense.
What hurt DeHaven most was what happened after he fought his own case and won. He came home expecting at least a conversation. Instead, Jay-Z cut him off completely. No explanation, no loyalty, just silence. To DeHaven, that silence said everything. He believes Jay-Z couldn't afford to talk to him, couldn't afford loose ends. Once you're operating at a level where federal connections and political protection are involved, even old friends become liabilities. So, when people ask why, Jay-Z never seems to be touched while people around him collapse, DeHaven's answer is simple. Jay-Z isn't hiding from the system, he's working with it. Dame Dash also says that pattern is exactly why their relationship finally broke for good. He explains that there was one moment he could never get past, one decision that told him everything he needed to know about Jay-Z's morals. Jay chose to work on a major project with R. Kelly, even though serious allegations involving Aaliyah were already widely known at the time. 35,008.
Yeah, when Jay did a project with R. Kelly, knowing that he had Aaliyah. How much more of that? You know what I'm saying? What would you need? So your supposed best friend, partner, does a project with someone that he knows your partner's girl when she was a child, and you still say that had nothing to do with me, I'm gonna still get money with him. You know, that one made, that was a wake up call for sure. And I don't think anyone that's human, if anyone could look the other way from that, they're a sucker. And, that a man should stop calling themselves a man if they can hang out with a dude that will work with someone, the person they love. And yeah, I was told by Aaliyah, do not shake, ruffle no feathers, because it's going to bring more awareness to it, and she wanted to move on. So she said, yo, you could be around, but I wouldn't be around the projects, but that record they did together, you know, you could be in the video, actually be in the video, because I wasn't going to go. She told me to go be in the video. She said, just don't be in no scenes or take no pictures. And I did that. I respected it.
Man, that must have been really, really hard for you. I can't even imagine how tough something like that would be.
Well, you know, it wasn't like I was crying about it, and it just made me look at someone that a different way. And I knew that there wasn't too much more future moving forward. You know, I just realized that again, our more fabric.
What shocked Dame even more was how long people continue to look the other way. He says it always seems like everyone suddenly finds their conscience only after someone gets arrested or publicly exposed. Before that, they stay quiet. They still show up. They still do business until it's no longer fashionable.
And after 30, it's like almost like the devil comes and says, I'm gonna give you 30 years to do what you want, but then it turns out bad. So I was surprised it took so long for something to happen, just based on what I was hearing. I was surprised it took so long for people. Like, it was crazy to me that the only time people say they're not f***ing with somebody is when they get busted. But if they know it, they still f***ing with them. They just don't f*** with them when it's not in style anymore. So that was more my thing. I was like, y'all know what this, you know, when people were still f***ing with it. And I was just like, you know, I felt sorry for humans overall, because it was like, where's the humanity? You know, where's the like personal respect for yourself and all? Like, you just do what everybody does, and it's still like that. So like, again, you know, with most of the people that are jammed up right now, people knew it. They just didn't say nothing until everybody else did. See, that's where I get somewhat ostracized, because I say things and call people out before it's fashionable. I call it out as soon as I see it. So you gotta remember, pause, I was beefing with the Weinstein. And damn near everybody else that I don't quit, it turns out that there was a reason for it that was justified. It's just everybody else was scared to say so.
Man, that's crazy, man.
You know, when you're a futuristic thinker, you can see good things that are gonna happen, and you can see bad things that are gonna happen. It's just using logic. 1 + 1 = 2. You know, illegal stuff for a certain amount of time equals at some point you're gonna get jammed up. You know, it's just, sometimes it bugs me out how long it be taking. But there's a lot of things that are going on in this world today that I'm like, I can't believe it hasn't, you know, one of these motherfuckers are gonna get their skirt pulled. You know what I mean? Like, when are people gonna be able to see the real logic behind the evil that everyone worships? Is unconsciously worshiping someone that's evil devil worship? I think it is, whether you're conscious of it or not. The devil's never gonna tell you they're the devil. They're gonna come and make you think they're God, and then you're gonna worship them. That's why I'm really particular about the way I move on holidays, because I don't know really what the fucking holiday means.
For Dame, all of this ties back to how he was raised. Harlem taught him that character matters more than money. That you don't compromise your integrity just to stay connected. And that knowing when to walk away is just as important as knowing how to win. That's why he walked away from Jay-Z. Some people believe Jay-Z may be standing in front of Diddy right now because he knows how close the spotlight is getting, not just on Diddy, but on anyone connected to him. And according to Jaguar, right, that fear isn't random. She says Jay-Z knows exactly how this movie ends because he's been part of the same world. Jaguar claims her perspective comes from first-hand experience. In the early 2000s, she worked closely around Jay-Z's circle as a backup singer. She says what she saw behind the scenes didn't match the public image at all. And in her words, the difference between Jay-Z and Diddy wasn't character. It was timing.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
So, there's been so many people on the internet trying to figure out where you are. They're watching you. They're doing all types of stuff trying to figure you
You
out.
want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen yet. That Cassie that's nothing.
So are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that get them in the end.
So you say that that
Jay-Z! And I think it's time for him to start speaking up about his very good friend.
She believes Jay-Z is trying to control how close his name gets to the fallout. Not because of loyalty, but because proximity is dangerous when the walls start closing in. From there, Jaguar expands the picture. She questions how certain artists, such as Rihanna, were discovered, managed, and moved through the industry at young ages, often without the same safeguards most parents would demand.
What would it take for Jay-Z to go down like Diddy did?
I don't know. But I got an idea that Evan Rogers is gonna help me figure that out.
And who is Evan?
Evan was the producer who only seemed to work on teeny bopper projects, who discovered Rihanna at 3 a.m. in the morning in a hotel room on the island where she comes from, with no parental supervision. And then she was put on a private plane, a minor, from one country to another, without parental supervision. And she ended up in a boardroom with Mr. Carter, without parental supervision. Y'all got young children. Would you just let your daughter leave and go to a whole other country with some money you don't know?
As for why Jay-Z would step in now, Jaguar believes it comes down to self-preservation. She says Jay-Z has always been more focused on protecting the image than confronting the damage. And when someone close to you is about to fall, you either let them take you down with them, or you create distance fast.
Absolutely not.
Doing talent shows at 3 a.m.
So you're saying that the rumors are true. There are rumors circulating that Rihanna was actually tracked here. Are you saying that
Starting to
that's...
sound that way. Because her daddy ain't show up till 24 hours later to pick up a $500,000 check for his daughters.
why Jay-Z is doing this to Diddy now? Is it to keep his name out
the
there?
crab? He can't stand being himself for 1 minute. That's why he likes assuming other people's lives. He wears them until he outgrows them, and then he finds another persona, crawls into that. I wish somebody would just take her back to Marcy for a visit and drop her. That would be an interesting homecoming and homegoing. He's the shame of Brooklyn.
In her eyes, Jay-Z isn't defending Diddy. Out of friendship, he's defending the system they both benefited from. Because once one pillar collapses, people start looking at the others. But what really caught people off guard was Jaguar Wright's take on the whole situation. In her view, Diddy isn't the mastermind everyone is pointing at. She believes he may actually be a pawn, someone being used by people with much bigger power and much bigger motives. She talks about how people who spent time around him used to describe the same strange energy. They'd walk into his house and, instead of a normal welcome, he'd ask them, "How does it feel? You made it." Just being near him was treated like a moment you were supposed to be grateful for. But then there were the things he said about himself. Jaguar points out that he didn't just see himself as successful. He spoke as if he were on a higher level altogether. That's where her frustration really shows. If this behavior was so unacceptable, why did so many people know about it for years? Why did it only become a problem once cameras were rolling and lawsuits appeared? Then Jaguar brings up something most people skipped over entirely: the symbols. She noticed the pyramid imagery, the same hand signs, the same visuals that keep popping up across powerful music circles. She found it strange that the same symbols showed up not just on artists but even on people covering the story outside the courthouse. To her, that's where the bigger picture starts to form.
You want to know the one thing that I'm finding also very interesting that nobody's paying attention to? The presence of that pyramid You know, that the same thing that the Rock Nation likes to put up, the same hand symbol that, you know, the sororities and the fraternities like to use. I'm not going to emulate it because you know exactly what it looks like.
Yep.
The pyramid sign that Diddy was wearing that around his neck. You wanna know what I found funny? That there were a bunch of YouTubers that were at that courthouse that were wearing that same, it was a much smaller version, but that same symbol.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, and that's the part of this story that makes it possible for people, I think, to graze over the reality of all that's going on. You know, if you just look at it from the salacious celebrity stuff, from pop culture media, so-called this new media, and I'm really not liking that term, this new media, because what it really sounds like is the name of a gang. Like, the media is media. Because I'm looking at the people that are falling under it, and they're all the same people that are involved with, you know, creating these propaganda campaigns. You know, but that's exactly what Diddy was saying at the beginning of the documentary. We need somebody that is proficient, you know, or fluent in being able to spin propaganda and narratives. We need social media. I guess that new media, is that what that is? Like, it's, if you only look at it from the face value aspect of it, you know, that's one thing. But if you look to the spiritual side of it, it's completely different. It unveils a much deeper agenda.
And this is where a much bigger question starts to hang in the air. What if all those recordings weren't just random moments? What if they were kept as leverage? It turns out that's exactly the case. Gene Deal says the silence of the biggest names in America speaks louder than any statement ever could. These aren't random people. These are celebrities, executives, public figures, people with money, brands, and reputations to protect. And according to Gone, that's exactly why they're quiet.
It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie with the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now these people are represented by a brand, whether it's some about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician.
That Gene argues is how leverage is built. He points out that even people who once appeared close to Diddy have stayed quiet, not because they don't know anything, but because they know too much.
When you don't know somebody's taping you, when you don't know that somebody is videoing you in some kind of form or fashion, you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off. He said that it's gonna give him the ups on everybody.
And in the end, Gene says all of it leads back to the same conclusion. Those recordings, whatever they contain, are the real threat. They don't just tell one story. They connect many people to one place, one system, and one source of control. Gene Deal raises another uncomfortable point. These gatherings weren't always hosted directly by Diddy himself.
Did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.